Well, hello folks. This is Jeff Ritter from Ritter Lights here in Richland Hills, Texas, and my wife Tammy and I wanted to do a walkthrough in the daytime of the Christmas setup. We've had a couple people ask, several actually, how does all this work? What does it do, etc. And I know there's a lot of light displays out there that have a lot more lights, a lot more complex than this one. But if I can do it, anyone can do it. So I thought this might be, because it's a little smaller, not quite as complex, thought it might help you guys to know that you can do this too. It's actually pretty easy. Just got to know a couple little things to do and you can do it. Link to the nighttime video, a short nighttime video later, but short during the day, so you'll see what's happening. First of all, I do run, this year was completely, totally LED lights, no incandescents. The system uses Light-O-Rama for what they call static or dumb LED lights, just a single color string of LEDs. And we also have some RGBs. The RGBs are not this year controlled by X lights or anything fancy like that. They're basically right out of the box. And following the instructions on the box, I made things happen the way that they did. So that was kind of easy. Someday I may go to X lights and control everything by that, but I don't see that in the immediate future. Right now, this is just the way it is for now, and it seemed to work. Start out here with the first of the yard, of course. And along in the front, I have a string of C9. These are C9 LED lights. These I bought in, a lot of this stuff's quite old, so the LEDs last a long time. Not are they pretty and energy efficient, but they last quite a long time. There's 100 lights here. It's a 100 light string. Goes there behind the tree, and then comes along the front of the yard all the way to the eastern side of the yard. And so again, those are just simple LEDs, blue and white LEDs. C9s, plug it in, and that's all they do. When I first did this, I didn't have enough stakes. So back in 2012, I just did every other light, had some stand up and some facing downward, and it just became, that's what I like to do. So I have enough stakes now, but I still like the idea of one up and one down. Again, that's totally your choice of what you'd like to do. We see our kitties over there. We have Mama Kitty on the right, who's the mother of Rainbow Kitty on the left. So there's where they have to be in the show too. In the front, we have this is just a LED floodlight, which lights up Santa and Mrs. Claus and the little train village. The train village, most of you know I'm a model railroader, all scales, mostly HO, but I do a little bit of everything. This is some G scale. I ran a couple of different trains this year. Currently what's on there is an Aristocrat locomotive with a couple cars on it. I think one is an LGB, one is a Aristocrat also. Some buildings, obviously, and the track is pretty cool. I'll do some more garden railway videos later using this. I'm going to expand this in the backyard and make more of a garden railway. But as you can see, it's redwood. It had a big fence in the back, took it down, had a redwood fence. And so I used the panels, they're 6 inches wide, and I just cut the panels to fit the track. Those are 8-foot diameter curves on the track. As you can see right here, basically each one is cut to the size of the track. I put a piece of wood underneath them and I screwed them together, and that's what I did for the road bed. The halves are split at the middle, right there in the middle. They're not screwed together because, as I say, I'm gonna use this later, but I screwed together what I needed to do, and that's as simple as it is. On the porch, I'll show you later, is a REA train Aristocrat train engineer, the radio control which runs out here and powers the track. Pretty simple. Of course, you can see the buildings. I put some Christmas lights on, etc. This is, in the center, is an RGB tree. This was from Home Depot last year. It was new last year. The RGB tree was straight out of Home Depot. Plugged it in, turns it on, and there it is. Very simple. The Santa and Mrs. Claus are wooden cutouts, displays, found at a garage sale actually. Very nice. That's new this year. And of course they're lit up in the display. So that's the front center display, and we'll go from here and I'll show you some other goodies. This is new this year. Actually, my wife Tammy found this at Red Rooster. It's a place up near Alvord, Texas. Beautiful Charlie Brown. Beautiful Charlie Brown made out of metal, and thought it was perfect. I do use the Linus and Lucy theme by Vince Guaraldi in the light show, And during the Christmas, just the Christmas music, I have several of the songs, Skating, O Tannenbaum, etc. So Charlie Brown's kind of been a theme. So this was a perfect addition. Besides that, I want to get a little more technical. Over here, this year I have 2 RGB lights, floodlights. Usually what I do on the lights, on the trees, is I wrap the trees in white, cool white LED lights. And they flash with the Light-O-Rama with the music. I didn't do that this year. I wanted to try something different. I used these lights here at Halloween, and they were perfect for the graveyard and some other things, just single colors. This year, I set them up to where they would change colors. What this is the Melpo. I think they're backwards the way you have to show it here. These are the Melpo 80 watt color floodlights. They're wonderful. I did some research online to see some good floodlights. I looked at some that are 10, 20 watts. Some of those you buy in some of the stores are 20, 25 watts. They're not very bright. They work okay if you're close to the house. But when I wanted to light the trees up, and for Halloween for a larger area, I got the 80 watt, and they're perfect. They light up everything. They're controlled not by the computer, but actually by your phone. There's an application you can put on to have them do single colors. They change colors, they fade. Again, just from the application of the phone. So this year I had this light, and I have the exact same one over there on the little stand. I'll show you in a minute. Those are doing the exact same thing at the same time in the application. It worked fine. I thought that was perfect, because that way I don't have to worry about timing. There's a couple questions asked about, do you have to reprogram every time the lights go on and off? No, I do not. Whatever setting that they're set on when the electricity it goes off is what they come back on as. So they actually work really well that way. Whatever I say to that, they just come back and they're good. Some of the lights here that have 3 control systems. As I said earlier, one is a timer, which I'll show you, a light timer which controls the static lights, just stuff that comes on. And these Melpo floodlights, the color lights, and the floodlight on the center display and the LED lights are timed on that. When it gets dark, it comes on, and there's a timer. You can set how many hours to go off. I usually have it set for 4, so it comes on about 5:36. And then it goes off about 10 o'clock, which was fine. So with these, with this brand, the Melpos, they're just perfect. You plug them in, you turn them on, you program them once, and then when the timer comes on, they do their thing. It just works good. So that's the first of the new LED things. I'll show you some more. And here is the second Melpo color wash floodlight. It's same as the other one. They came in a 2-pack. I believe I got them on Amazon, a 2-pack for $69.95. I had free shipping, so it was great. So whatever the little tax was is a little over $70, $72 for a set of 2. And I really like them. As I say, I really like them for what they are. If you're looking for color floodlights, I would recommend them. Other thing right here is just a simple, there's a solar light which lights on the light up sign for the radio frequency, which I'll talk about later. And that's an old real estate sign that I think I found in the trash somewhere. And of course I ran for office one time, so my political sign works great. Put it in there, paint the front of it, and there you go. It just works good. So far it is all pretty inexpensive. Let me show you how some of this other works here. And this is the timer. It's a garden timer. Again, I think I bought it at Home Depot or Lowe's. It is a timer which works on sunlight. And I really like these. I use these for pretty much everything I do outside for decoration. There's the control unit. It's on, off, dawn to dusk, 2, 4, 6, or 8 hours. And as I say, it comes on, it has a light sensor. And when it gets dark, it comes on. And however many hours later you set it for, it will turn off. You can see my electric cords. Those power the LED lights around the yard. Those power the spotlight on the Santa Claus. They power some of the lights on the porch. But that's what turns those on and off. They also power the icicle lights. But that's as simple as that is. It just works. And here we are. This is the front window. This is the bedroom window, the bay window. And these are just our LED, what they call dumb LED lights. These are a string of LED lights. Their Seasonal Source is the brand. Again, I bought these in 2012. This is now 2023. They are still going strong. They were about 14 bucks then. I don't know what they are now, but oh man, you get good commercial lights and they will last you. These are bright and they work. These are powered by the Light-O-Rama. This is part of the dancing animated light show. I put red lights on the left window. I put red and green on the main window, and again red on the right. I needed to use 8 channels worth of these types of lights for the programming I had, so I thought this would be a good way to do it. So this is the first 4 channels of the Light-O-Rama, channels 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna come here for a minute. This is just to the left of the entrance of the steps. This is part of the Light-O-Rama. You can see here I've got some red lights, again red LED lights. These are the little, what they call bubblegum lights, or I think the G12s. They're just little lights I've stuck here in the salvia plant, which didn't hold them too well, so I put a brace in there that will hold the lights up to make it like a bush. What's important to notice, you see there's wires and cords everywhere, and people say, oh, look at that. Well, the thing about it is you see it at night, so you really don't notice all the wires and cords at night. You don't see them at all, and so you just do what you have to do. Again, I needed another channel, so here's a hummingbird feeder stand, and I put some lights on it to make a bush looking thing. And over here is the base of the FM radio antenna, and I decorated it. So those are, again, Light-O-Rama controlled. There's some red lights in that window as well. So that's what I started doing for the animated show. And here I'm coming up now to the big new deal this year in 2023. Added so much impact and punch to the show, I can't believe it. These are RGB panels that I created. I made them out of again, political sign. I'll show you the back in a minute. These are Twinkly lights. I'm sure you've seen Twinkly lights advertised. These are 150 string light strands that I picked up. And so what I did is I figured out, how am I going to make all these fit? So I drew a grid out and kind of measured it all out of how tall these needed to be to fit on the columns of the porch. And as you can see, the plan is 5 lights across of 30 rows. There's 30 rows of 5 lights. The spacing is 2.5 inches. So I got my panels and I cut them out. I had to glue some together. You can see right there. I use the same stuff I'll use on my model railroad. It's the DAP tub and tile adhesive. So you can get white or clear. I think I used white on this one because it wouldn't be seen we painted anyway. But that stuff works. It's waterproof and it holds very well. It's outside. I use this stuff a lot. But that's what I use to secure the panels together. As I said, I just set for about a week. And I took some big rulers and I marked all the grid, 2.5 inches square. And there are 4 of these panels. That one, there's a panel here on the left side, and you can see that I put it up there with tie wraps. I could probably do a little bit better of putting it up there, but we put it up with tie wraps. And there's 2 others I'll show you. But those are just simply the Twinkly 150 strand lights on a Coroplast sheet. They work pretty well. This is panel number 3. The first 2 are to the left. This is panel number 3. I've put on the column here, and it goes up to the top. You can see, and again, it's 5 lights across with 30 rows. You can kind of see the marks I put in there with Sharpie before I painted it black. Again, there's lots of wires, lots of stuff, but you never really see it at night. You don't see any of it, so don't worry about that. And there's the panel number 4 on the 4th column on the far right. Well, for those of you who really wanted a behind-the-scenes look, there you go. This is the behind one of the panels. As you can see, I just ran across 5 across, 30 rows across and down. And again, this is just made out of an old political sign I had. Measured it out, punched it with an ice pick. I had to drill a little bit out of the ice pick. It was just a little small for the lights to go through, so I just took a drill and just quickly made it the size of the hole and did it. Took me about 2 weeks to make the 4 panels, but boy, it was sure worth it. And finally, we are now to the heart of the tech system. This is on the porch. As you can see, I've got just a small laptop. That is Zara Radio Free Edition, and it's playing the music when the light show isn't on. It plays music. It's just an automated radio station software. And what's neat about that is I can set it again to where when the music shuts off at 6 p.m., this turns off. The computer will also turn on the Light-O-Rama at 6 o'clock, so it transitions from music only to music and lights. And then at 10 o'clock, the Light-O-Rama shuts off and the music picks up again. Actually, there's about a 2-minute delay, I think. To be honest, the music shuts off, I think I said it like 5:58, because what this does is it fades out. It fades the music between songs and also the endings. And so instead of 6 o'clock, I've just cut the song off. It actually fades out like it should, and then that gives a little bit of time for the show to start. And the same thing at the end at 10 o'clock. But that's what controls the Light-O-Rama lights. This here, for those of you who are into the Garden Railway, that's the train controller for the model railroad. That's a 24-volt power supply, 10 amp, 24 power supply connected to the train engineer remote. And of course, I've used an old extension cord that the ends were bad, so I just cut off the ends, and I believe it's a 14 gauge extension cord wire, which is big enough. So I plug that into the output of the train engineer, and it's what runs out and powers the track. And of course, you see the kiddies have to get involved. So that's the heart of the computer system and the train. Over here is the Light-O-Rama box. That's box 1. I only used 16 channels this year. Didn't use the arches because of the new display in the front. I have some ideas about expanding the arches, so I didn't even use the second box. But this is the Light-O-Rama box with the 16 channels out to the LED lights. And finally, here is the FM transmitter. You can see the transmitter sets here, and I do have a cable running to the antenna over there. The reason I tried the antenna this year, there's the antenna stand. It's about a 10-foot pole. But the reason I tried the antenna is because of the fact that I noticed a lot of times in previous years with the radio this close to the computer and whatever, I'd get some buzzing sound. The computer would lock up sometimes. And I found that it was because the RF of the radio just didn't like it. So I put the antenna, and I can't get the transmitter too far from the computer because of the audio cables. So I thought, well, I'm just going to put an antenna up, improve the SWR on the radio, and just make it a little bit better. And it seemed to be fine. It didn't really increase the range that much at low power. It made it more solid as you're driving by. There's no static, no buzz. It's fine. So that's what that is, and that's how that works. That's the FM transmitter connected to the computer, which is also connected to the Light-O-Rama. And that is the general overall setup of the computer system. The final thing I wanted to show you is the way those twinkly lights are set up, again on the timer. Again, with the twinklies, once you set them with the application, they're also application controlled. They're good. You don't have to reset every time the power goes off. So instead of leaving them plugged in, actually it was easiest to just plug it into the timer. So again, when it gets dark, it sends power through that cord up to a big mess of cords right there, which of course you can't see at night. And all the panels are connected then into that big mess of cords. And when the power comes on about 5:30 or so, they all connect to the HF Hi-Fi Wi-Fi network, which then turns them on. They lock in, and then of course the schedule set to 6 o'clock. So these are set through the Twinkly app to come on at 6 o'clock and off at 10 o'clock. same as the computer. So although it looks like they're connected, it looks like they're all working together, they're really completely, totally different systems. It just kind of works that way. But that's how the RGB light panels are working and how they come on with the system. As I say, someday I'd like to connect everything, probably via X-Lights, possibly Light-O-Rama software, it'll work, but X-Lights, they say, with the RGBs is the way to go. Again, there's all sorts of arguments for and against. I'll let the community decide that, but someday maybe they all be connected totally through a computer and actually all synchronized. But for now, I thought the light show was pretty impressive. I do have the animated lights on the windows. The RGB panels add some flash and flare with the interest out front. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty effective little display. Nothing real fancy. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have a lot more fancy than this. But for what it does, I think it does okay. Again, thank you for watching, everyone. Look for more videos. I'll put the link to or include the video, the short nighttime video that I made on the end of this one in a few seconds, so you can see what it actually looks like at night. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Thank you from Ritter Lights. Bye-bye. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. My wife Tammy and I would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas from Ritter Lights here in Richland Hills, Texas. We have beautiful weather tonight. It's a little cool, but everything is wonderful. Great for Santa's ride and delivering of presents. In fact, we have Santa in the window. He stopped off here tonight to get a little bit of workshop time in to spread gifts to the people of North Texas. So he's in the left window over there. I've got him in my room working on some stuff. We've got the model train out front. A little train around the tree. Got to have a train around the tree. Best thing you can have at Christmas, right? Mr. Santa and Mrs. Claus out front. And of course, it's just an awesome time of year to be with friends and family and spread the joy of Christmas throughout the neighborhood. We certainly wish everyone watches this video and around the world has a very wonderful and blessed Christmas season, as always. Golly gee, it's just such a pleasure to do this for the neighborhood, spread joy amongst the people who come and see it. Again, we want to wish everyone a very happy and very Merry Christmas from Jeff and Tammy Ritter, Richland Hills, Texas. Ritter Lights on Facebook. Thank you so very much. Very Merry Christmas.